Sorry, chat. It's more like spooks and spa time with Wolfie. Actually, the mixture of these two scents is quite nice. One of these is vanilla and patchouli from Bath and Body Works, and the other is how do they market you? Stormy Nights. It's like an ozone lightning smell from Beffermade that I got from Etsy. Or, yeah, Beffermade. Lots of warblers in this recording. At least I think they're warblers. They sound like warblers. Well, I know that I'm live. I like telling dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs. Yo, Chaos, what's up? How you doing, dude? How about me? I need a fucking vacation, dog. I need a vacation. I need a vacation. I need a vacation. I need a vacation. Need I need a vacation. It's been a rough week, but same. It's I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burnt out. I could be doing much worse, but I could be doing quite a bit better as well. I'm happy I'm streaming. I missed that. And I'm sorry if I'm a little tired now. I'm a little worn out. Who dares text me? Oh, great. Sorry, work. I need a week of nothing but sleeping in a pile of fluff all day. Yeah. About the same. It's just been one thing after another this week. It's just been one thing after another. And I am... You know it's bad when... So the dude who's not supposed to be our boss tried to text us earlier today. And you know I need a vacation. When Vulture just yeets the phone into the passenger seat and goes, Ren, we're looking for turtles. And just fucks off into the midday sun in 90-degree weather to go find turtles because we don't want to do anything else. Now, Ren had a field day. We found turtles, but... Bruh. My poor underlings are probably a little frightened of me because I've been stormy. They've been fucking up. But... Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, fine. Fine. Sunday morning it is, dipshit. I don't want to talk to him. Yeah, so I'm burnt out Fucking stop. It's after hours. Great. He's not even my fucking boss anymore. Whatever. I'm sorry. Right now, Wolfie's just... I'll stop by. No, not you, Chaos. Not you. No, you're one of the few people I actually want to be around at the moment. Yeah, it's just... God, I have horror stories. You wanna hear a ghost story? Here's a ghost story. So picture this. June, I don't know, 2nd, 2021. Dude I didn't hire. Banding with us. It's like first or second day. Apparently he left a net open. A bird net. What we use to catch our birds. Right? And I was under the impression that the net was closed, whatever. I had like this nagging feeling that something was wrong, but like the person in charge of the field station was just like, everything's fine, we have other things to do, stop with this. So, lo and behold, a couple days later, 4 dead birds, all of them the birds that I study, including birds that I had studied the previous year. 4 birds are dead in that net. And I had that premonition that, like, that net was open and that something was wrong. So fast forward 2 years. 2023. Few nights ago, like, I'm getting ready for bed, and Vulture goes, I think net 9 is open. Which is the same net, by the way, from the year before. Well, the 2 years before. And Snake goes, you're paranoid. Like, it's fine. This field crew has been on top of their shit. Like, we've been working for a month. They know the drill. Of course it's closed. So, we're unsettled, but we find our way to sleep, right? But the anxiety doesn't leave. So yesterday I drive back up. Just, we had just banded the day before. And I get there and my crew looks worried. And they look concerned. And the first words out of my mouth is net 9 open? And it was. Thankfully no birds were in it. But turns out my, up until now, super reliable lead bander had somehow forgotten that net. So it was open overnight. Now, by the grace of the gods, It didn't catch anything. And that was only one thing that happened this week. So yeah, I'm a little on the bitchier side. You'll have to forgive me. So yeah. That could have killed a number of birds very easily. We got very, very lucky that it didn't. And then, of course, there's workplace drama up to the gills. My old boss is finding new ways to fuck everything up. Even though he's literally not employed at the university anymore. My crew's just getting sloppy, making mistakes. Things that should have been ready today were not. And I need a vacation. But let me see if I can't find a good. Should get him markers and a coloring book and tell him there's a bench over there. We'll bring you cookies and juice at lunch. Honestly, I kind of did just do that. I basically sat her down and went like, we'll keep you on simple things for the moment. Oh, my boss? Yeah. No, I wish I could. Not my bander. My bander I went easy on. Good lord, we're so happy that Vulture wasn't fronting in that moment because I think Vulture might have strangled her. Oh my god, he was so mad. He was so mad. He was beside himself with fury. Dude, I think I need to cry. I think I just need a good cry. I haven't let myself have it because I'm like the boss and I need to not, you know. I need to keep my shit together at all times because everyone needs me for everything. But goddamn. I wonder if there are more fishing stories that are good. I don't know. What are you in the mood for, Chaos? I can read anything. Or we could just chill. I failed to find a spooky background because I got distracted by this relaxing looking thing. You good with anything? Why don't we... Let me see if I can find a good fishing story. Sorry, hold on, I'm looking. Alright, this one's called Kodiak Bears and Steelhead. Steelhead, the migratory form of rainbow trout, is one of the great game species and a must-catch for any globe-traveling fly fisher. The fact that bears inhabit similar country to steelhead and enjoy eating them adds an interesting dimension to Alaskan fishing trips. Peter Hayes and a friend, Nigel Sturgeon, had both been to Alaska's Kodiak Island before. However, whereas Nigel had caught steelhead, Peter had never, despite catching large numbers of the various species of Pacific salmon. Interestingly, both had nearly killed themselves on previous trips in the process of trying to board small inflatable boats from shingle beaches frequented by bears. However, this had not put them off the idea of return trips, and when their friend and guide, Steve Anderson, emailed offering the steelhead trip of a lifetime, they leapt at the chance. There are several ways to reach steelhead country. The party chose to stop off in Anchorage, to visit a colleague and shop for specialist Alaskan fishing tackle at dollar prices. From Anchorage, they flew to Kodiak, and from there to Steve's lodge at Port Lions. There they boarded Beaver Boat Plane, which carries them at low altitude across the fantastic Alaskan landscape to the Karluk River, where they landed on a wide, flat piece of water some miles up the river from the mouth. They quickly packed all their camping and fishing gear to two 10-foot inflatables, which they navigated down the increasingly swift-flowing river, avoiding the swirling current around rocks, and trying desperately to keep dry from the spray flying up from the bows. It took 2.5 hours, traveling through stunning scenery, before they reached Canoe Rock Hole, where they set up camp beside the river. They were deep in tundra country. Behind them were shallow glacial valleys covered with a thin brush, and willow scrub in their autumnal orange and ochre colors. And on the higher ground was a fine line of red and brown berry bushes. And on the higher ground was, which in turn gave way to bare gray rock, the lava remains of extinct volcanoes. It was immediately evident that bears were around, because it was obvious where they had beaten down the corridors through the tall reeds that lined the riverbank. Food supplies, therefore, were stored well away from the camp, safely concealed in bear-proof barrels. The river cried out classic steelhead habitat, with glides, runs, riffles, islands, pools, shallow weed beds, and numerous large rocks, providing perfect lies for fish. The water was shallow, but with small boulders strewn about the bottom, and the fast flow wading too far out became dangerous. Peter started fishing in the runs between the weeds, catching stunningly beautiful sea-run Arctic char, up to 5 towns decked out in their spawning colors, dark greens, reds, oranges, white, black, and silver. Then the first coho salmon came to hand, a fresh-run silverfish close to 20 pounds. And this was when things began to go wrong on the tackle front. In his excitement, Peter laid down his rather expensive rod to deal with the fish, only for it to flap around on the shingle and then land heavily onto the rod tip, snapping it cleanly off an inch from the top ring. "Bugger. I hope you've got a reserve," said Steve. "Yeah, but only one." "Better be careful then. The steelheads fight like hell, you know." On the second day, Peter hooked and lost 4 big fish, and finally landed a magnificent fresh 27-inch steelhead, silver flanked with iridescent pink flashes. As evening approached, he hooked a big steelhead in front of Canoe Rock, which fought him for ages, continually leaping and showing off its freshness in the dwindling light. However, with a steep bank behind, it proved difficult to land, and the fish managed to free itself at the last moment. It would prove to be the biggest steelhead of the whole expedition, but it went unmeasured. Bad luck with his tackle continued to dog Peter. As the braking system on his supposedly top-grade reel worked only intermittently, problematic tackle didn't stop the third day from being a huge success, with Peter landing another 5 steelhead. The drag setting would give way during the fight, and then unexpectedly bind again, with the result that several fish were bounced off by the sudden jolt. Such are the perils of fishing hundreds of miles out in the wilderness, with little rooms and bags for spares or repair kits. The third day was a great success, however. Oh wait, I don't know how that happened. No, the third day was a great success, however, with Peter landing another 5 steelhead. As all the fish were returned alive, size was calculated using the standard formula for salmon and trout. Nose to tail length multiplied by girth, squared and divided by 700. As a result, Peter's largest fish that day went 31 inches and 10 pounds in weight, while Nigel landed a 33-inch fish that would have been at least 12 pounds. The climactic variability of the Alaskan tundra in the autumn was given its full range during the following 24 hours. There were 14 degrees Fahrenheit of frost that night, which, apart from being freezing cold for campers, produced morning water, a temperature of only 36 degrees, which warmed by a staggering 10 degrees during the day as the air temperature soared into the 70s. By mid-afternoon, Peter was fishing without a shirt, but the only steelhead he hooked promptly ran out 150 yards before jumping and throwing the hook. Despite the intensity of the fishing, Peter always had half an eye for the wildlife. Bears had been wandering up and down the river fairly regularly during daylight, although they mercifully kept away at night. Peter had seen one family group in particular roaming the riverbank, consisting of a sow and 2 well-grown teenager cubs, although the mother had kept her offspring away from the campsite. He had even broken off from fishing for a while to film the animals, a shotgun ready in one hand just in case, while operating a rather shaky camera in the other. That Thursday afternoon, the bears had passed by. God damn it. Sorry about that. Hold on. I'm drinking something. That Thursday afternoon, the bears had passed by on their downstream journey around tea time, heading probably for the river mouth that, although 15 miles away, would still be within their foraging territory. However, the fishing camp a mile below had other ideas. It made such a racket with shouts and whistles that not only did Peter hear them, the bears did about an hour turn. No, the bears did an about turn and came waddling back. They arrived on the opposite side of the river just as Steve was grilling a coho for supper. The male cub stopped and sniffed the air, but was encouraged to keep going by his mother, so that the group disappeared upstream. However, as the light faded, another angler's camp turned the bears around yet again and sent them back downstream. Only this time, they were on Peter's side of the river, and the male cub, probably fed up with humans interfering with his foraging, very definitely now had grilled salmon in his nostrils. Peter, Nigel, and Steve chased the cub away twice, but the bear climbed the steep bank and defiantly stayed his ground some 30 yards from the dinner tent, continually sniffing the fragrance of cooked salmon in the air. He was obviously intent on another attempt at stealing the fish, so the 3 anglers formed a defensive line. Steve with a pump-action shotgun loaded with slugs to kill, Peter with another gun loaded with cracker shells, and Niger holding Nigel holding the boxes of spare cartridges for both. In front of them were the three bears, the male cub aggressively in the lead. At this point, obviously deciding that the salmon was rightfully his, he charged. "Shoot him, Pete," said Steve quietly. Peter waited a fraction longer, then fired at 10 yards range. The cracker shell hit the bear slap on the nose, bounced off as intended, fell into the grass, and exploded like a thunder flash. The bear skidded to a halt, spun around 180 degrees, and galloped out of the camp as fast as his legs would carry him. "Hell," said Steve. "The bear must have been doing 30 miles an hour on the way in." Peter laughed nervously, holding another cracker shell into the breech. "Yeah, but I reckon he was doing 40 on the way out. Let's hope he learned his lesson." The bears vanished into the undergrowth and showed no signs of returning. Even so, Peter spent long, nervous, and sleepless nights listening out for prowling predators, not to mention his companion's carefree snoring. As soon as the dawn broke, he gingerly stuck his head out of the tent, and there, sure enough, were the three bears again, just 200 yards from the camp, catching field voles. "I guess a bear's gotta do what a bear's gotta do," he thought ruefully, mimicking Steve's voice in his head. He just prayed the vole hunting would keep the animals occupied for the rest of the trip, so he could concentrate on the steelhead and catch up on much-needed sleep. There was plenty of other tundra wildlife to go with the bears. They saw several bald eagles, one so close to the boat that the party drifted by underneath the branch on which it was perched. There were foxes, one of which was already turning into its silver winter coat, and 3 Sitka black deer, including a young animal crossing the river in front of the boat, although luckily the bears did not discover them. Otherwise, the rubberized transport home might have been shredded. Oh, wait. No, I skipped something. And 3 Sitka black deer, including a young animal crossing the river in front of Peter while he fished. To cap it all, a family of voles nested underneath the boat, although luckily the bears did not discover them. Otherwise, the rubberized transport home might have been shredded. But Peter's abiding memory from the week, apart from the fantastic fishing, the scenery and utter wildness of the country, was the low-octave growl of the mother bear coaxing her cubs to follow her, and the louder angry roar of a boar grizzly some way upstream, reacting to another camp's thunderflash dissuader. However marvelous it was to see brown bears in the flesh like that, so close and in their natural environment. The 12-hour Alaskan night spent wondering whether Wiltshire fishermen might be on the Predator's menu played nerves somewhat by the end of the week. "Would you come back?" asked Steve as they watched the beaver taxi toward them. "Oh, like a shot," replied Peter without any hesitation, "although I might bring a few more crackle shells with me next time." Well, that was just pleasant. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just relaxing a tad. looks like nobody else is here for the moment. And Chaos might have gone to sleep. Sorry, I'm looking for another one. Let's see. This story is called The Raven Mocker. According to traditional medical theories of the Cherokee of the southeastern United States, death is due to a personal attack. The attack may come from a non-human, supernatural source, or from a human agent, such as a witch. The witch, as in the case of many other traditions, carries out his or her mischief under the cover of darkness. Therefore, the Cherokee term for the witch translates as night-goer. Of all the Cherokee wizards or witches, the most dreaded is the Raven Mocker, the one who robs the dying man of life. They are of either sex, and there is no sure way to know one. But they usually look withered and old, because they have added so many lives to their own. At night, when somebody is sick or dying in the settlement, the Raven Mocker goes to the place to take the life. He flies through the air in a fiery shape, with arms outstretched like wings, and sparks trailing behind, and a rushing sound like the noise of a strong wind. Every little while, as he flies, he makes a cry like the raven when it dives in the air. not like the common raven cry. And those who hear are afraid, because they know that some man's life will soon go out. When the raven mocker comes to the house, he finds others of his kind waiting there. And unless there is a doctor on guard who knows how to drive them away, they go inside, all invisible, and frighten and torment the sick man until they kill him. Sometimes, to do this, they even lift him from the bed and throw him upon the floor. But his friends who are with him think that he is only struggling for breath. As the witches kill him, they take out his heart and they eat it, and so add to their own lives as many days or years as they have taken from his. No one in the room can see them, and there is no seer where they take out the heart. But yet there is no heart left in the body. Only one who has the right medicine can recognize a raven mocker, and if such a man stays in the room with the sick person, these witches are afraid to come in, and retreat as soon as they see him, because when one of them is recognized in his right shape, he must die within 7 days. There was once a man who had this medicine, and used to hunt for raven mockers, and killed several. When the friends of a dying person know that there is no more hope, they always try to have one of these medicine men stay in the house to watch the body until it's buried, because after burial the witches do not steal the heart. The other witches are jealous of the raven mockers and afraid to come into the same house with one. Once a man who had the witch medicine was watching by a sick man and saw those other witches outside trying to get in. All at once they heard a raven mocker cry overhead, and the others scattered like a flock of pigeons when the hawk swoops. When, at last, a raven mocker dies, these other witches sometimes take revenge by digging up the body and abusing it. The following is told on the reservation as an actual happening. A young man had been out on a hunting trip, and was on his way home when night came on, while he was still a long distance from the settlement. He knew of a house not far off the trail, where an old man and his wife lived, so he turned in that direction to look for a place to sleep until morning. When he got to the house, there was nobody in it. He looked to the sweat lodge and found no one there either. He thought that maybe they had gone after water, so stretched himself out on the further corner to sleep. Very soon he heard a raven cry outside, and a little while afterward the old man came into the sweat lodge and sat down by the fire without noticing the young man, who kept still in a dark corner. Soon there was another raven cry outside. The old man said to himself, "Oh, now my wife is coming." And sure enough, in a little while, the old woman came in and sat down by her husband. Then the young man knew that they were raven mockers, and he was frightened and kept very quiet. Said the old man to his wife, "Well, what luck did you have?" "None," said the old woman. "There were too many doctors watching. What luck did you have?" "I got what I went for," said the old man. "There's no reason to fail, but you never have luck. Take this and cook it, and let's have something to eat." She fixed the fire, and then the old man smelled the meat roasting and thought it smelled sweeter than any other meat he'd ever tasted. He peeped out from one eye, and it looked like a man's heart roasting on a stick. Suddenly the old woman said to her husband, "Who is over in the corner?" "Nobody," said the old man. "Yes, there is," said the old woman. "I hear him snoring." And she stirred the fire until it blazed and lighted up the whole place. In the air was the young man lying in the corner. He kept quiet and pretended to be asleep. The old man made a noise at the fire to wake him, but he still pretended to sleep. When the old man came over and shook him, he sat up and rubbed his eyes as if he'd been asleep all the time. Now it was near daylight, and the old woman was on the other house, getting breakfast ready. The hunter could hear her crying to herself. "Why is your wife crying?" he asked the old man. "Oh, she's lost some of her friends lately and feels lonesome," said her husband. But The young man knew that she was crying because he had heard them talking. Huh? Okay. When they came out to the breakfast, the old man put a bowl of corn mush before him and said, "This is all we have. We have no meat for a long time." After breakfast, the young man started on again. But when he had gone a little way, the old man ran after him with a fine piece of beadwork and gave it to him, saying, "Take this, and don't tell anyone what you heard last night, because my wife and I are always quarreling that way." The young man took the piece, but when he came to the first creek, he threw it into the water, and then went on to the settlement. There he told the whole story, and a party of warriors started back with him to kill the raven mockers. When they reached the place, it was 7 days after the first night. They found the old man and his wife laying dead together in the house. So they set fire to it and burned the witches together. Adapted from The Raven Mocker from James Mooney's Myths of the Cherokee. Alright. Now I'm tired. Happier, though. Much happier. For those of you watching the VOD, I'm sorry it's short and mostly a spa session. I'll do better probably next week. Hopefully that week will be easier. In the meantime, though, do not eat or drink any questionable substances. Make smart decisions to not die. Dying is absolutely forbidden, and I will see all of you wonderful people at a later time. And take care, guys.